In a quiet suburban neighborhood, a woman named Amanda, with a confident stride and a smile that could light up a room, was about to embark on a journey that would change everything. She had a perfect life, or so it seemed. Her marriage to Tom, a loving and attentive husband, was something she thought she could always rely on. They had built their lives together, filled with laughter, memories, and dreams of the future. Their house was a reflection of their commitment, their love, a warm, inviting space where they grew old together in each other's company. But in every perfect world, there are cracks, and sometimes, we don't see them until it's too late. Amanda had never planned to betray Tom. In fact, she loved him dearly, but somewhere along the way, life became too predictable. Work became an endless routine, and the sparks that once ignited her passion for life seemed to have dimmed. That's when she met someone, a man from her office. His charm, his attention, the way he listened to her, made her feel alive again. At first, it was innocent, flirty banter exchanged over a lunch break, an occasional compliment on her work. Nothing more than harmless fun. Or at least, that's what Amanda convinced herself of. The excitement of the forbidden thrill pulsed through her veins. But in the depths of her heart, she knew that every moment spent with him was a betrayal of Tom. It didn't take long for their meetings to grow more intense. What started as innocent texts blossomed into late-night conversations, each word exchanged like a step away from her life with Tom. Amanda found herself laughing more, feeling seen in ways she hadn't felt in years. The more she indulged in this new relationship, the further she drifted from the one that had been built with Tom. She didn't think she was falling in love, but she didn't need to. The excitement was enough. The danger, the risk, everything about it made her feel alive again. She told herself it would never go too far, that she could keep it all under control. She told herself that no one would ever find out, but secrets, no matter how well hidden, have a way of coming to the surface. The text messages, once innocent, grew more personal. The stolen glances became stolen moments. And then, one evening, Amanda found herself at a hotel, one she had never mentioned to Tom. When she returned home that night, her heart pounded in her chest. Tom was sitting on the couch, his face warm with a smile that had greeted her every day for years. But tonight, something was different. The tension in the air was palpable. The moment he asked her about the receipt she had left in her bag, Amanda's blood ran cold. How could she explain herself? How could she make him believe that it was nothing more than a mistake, an accident? The lies spilled from her mouth, weak and unconvincing. She watched his face slowly harden, the smile slipping away, replaced with confusion and hurt. Tom had never imagined that this would happen. Their marriage was built on trust, a deep foundation that seemed unshakable. He believed in her with all his heart. But that trust began to crumble in front of his eyes, piece by piece, and Amanda knew it. She saw the doubt in his eyes, the unspoken questions that lingered in the air between them. Tom wasn't foolish. He knew something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. His wife had always been so open, so honest. This was something different. But he loved her, and love often makes us blind to the things we don't want to see. Days passed, and the weight of Amanda's actions grew heavier. Every conversation with Tom felt strained, every moment together felt forced. She was no longer the woman he had married, she was someone else, someone hiding a secret she could no longer bear. The guilt was suffocating. But at the same time, she couldn't stop herself. She felt trapped, unable to break free from the affair that had taken hold of her life. She had betrayed the person who loved her most, and she didn't know how to fix it. The turning point came one evening when Amanda and Tom had a quiet dinner at home. Tom had been distant, his questions more pointed than usual. Amanda tried to brush it off, offering a weak smile and a reassurance that everything was fine. But Tom wasn't convinced. He pressed her for answers, and in that moment, Amanda felt the walls closing in. He asked her again about the hotel receipt, his voice low and calm but filled with an intensity that Amanda couldn't ignore. The truth hung in the air, thick and heavy, suffocating them both. She finally broke. She admitted everything. The affair. The lies. The betrayal. It was all out in the open now. And Tom, the man who had stood by her side through thick and thin, was shattered. Tom's face didn't show anger, at least not in the way Amanda expected. Instead, he was numb, lost in a whirlwind of confusion and heartbreak. His world had been turned upside down in an instant. How could the woman he loved, his wife, do this to him? How could she betray him like this, after everything they had shared? The tears Amanda shed were real, but they couldn't undo what had been done. There was no turning back now. The trust that had held their marriage together was broken, and no amount of apologies or promises could repair the damage. In the days that followed, Amanda tried to make things right. She begged for forgiveness, but Tom was distant, lost in his own pain. The damage had been done. What Amanda had failed to realize was that when you break someone's trust, it's not just the betrayal that hurts. It's the realization that the person you loved and trusted was not the person you thought they were. The person you gave your heart to was now a stranger. And even if forgiveness is offered, the scars remain. They never completely heal. Amanda didn't know what the future held. Could they rebuild? Could Tom ever forgive her? She wasn't sure. But she knew that the road ahead would be long and uncertain. She had shattered everything, her marriage, her family, and the trust they had once shared. And now, she would have to face the consequences. As she walked home that night, her heart heavy with guilt and regret, she realized that trust is fragile. It's not something that can be taken for granted, not something that can be repaired easily once broken. No matter how much she wished for things to go back to the way they were, she knew that it would never be the same again. But what about you? Have you ever been in a situation where trust was broken? How did it feel? Could you rebuild the trust that was shattered, or did it change the course of your relationship forever? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your story and learn how you navigated through the pain of betrayal. And if you found a way to rebuild trust, let us know how you did it. Trust is a delicate thing, and sometimes the hardest part is deciding whether or not it's worth trying to rebuild. Thank you for watching today's video. If you've enjoyed this story and want to hear more about real-life situations involving trust, relationships, and the power of forgiveness, don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, take care, and remember, trust is a gift, and it's up to us to protect it. As Amanda walked down the familiar path back to the home she once shared with Tom, the weight of her actions felt like a physical burden on her shoulders. She thought of all the memories, the laughter, the promises, and the love that had once filled that space. Now, all that was left was emptiness, both in the house and in her heart. Could she ever repair the damage she had caused? Could she ever face Tom with the same honesty, the same trust they once had? As she reached the front door, her hand hovered over the doorknob, her mind racing with 1,000 different emotions. There was fear of what Tom would say, fear of what her life would become after this moment. But there was also guilt, overwhelming guilt that consumed her every thought. She had broken a bond that was supposed to be unbreakable. She had shattered something beautiful, something that once seemed so perfect. Amanda stepped inside the house, her footsteps heavy as she made her way to the living room. Tom was sitting on the couch, the same spot where they had spent countless evenings together, laughing, talking, sharing their dreams for the future. But tonight, it was different. The silence between them spoke volumes. Tom's eyes were filled with hurt, confusion, and a sense of betrayal. There was no anger in his gaze, just pain. The kind of pain that cuts deeper than any argument or fight ever could. She stood there for a long moment, unable to speak, the weight of her guilt choking her words. Finally, Tom broke the silence, his voice low and weary. "How could you do this, Amanda? How could you betray me like this?" His words were soft, but they cut through her like a knife. Amanda sank to her knees, tears streaming down her face as she tried to explain, to make him understand. But the truth was, there was no explanation that could make up for what she had done. No words could heal the wound she had caused. All she could do was beg for his forgiveness, though deep down, she knew that forgiveness might never come. Not fully. Not in the way it once was. Tom stood up, walking slowly toward the door. "I don't know if I can do this," he said quietly. I don't know if I can ever trust you again." And just like that, Amanda realized the truth: trust, once broken, is not so easily repaired. It takes time, patience, and understanding, things that cannot be rushed. And sometimes, even with all the time in the world, the damage is irreversible. The next few days were a blur. Amanda tried to fix things, tried to make amends, but nothing seemed to change. Tom remained distant, and with every passing day, the gap between them grew wider. She realized that she had not just betrayed him, she had betrayed herself. The person she had become was not someone she even recognized anymore. She had sacrificed her integrity, her values, all for a momentary escape, and now she was left to pick up the pieces. In the quiet of her home, Amanda reflected on the painful truth: sometimes, love is not enough to fix what has been broken. Sometimes, even the most genuine apologies and heartfelt pleas for forgiveness can't undo the hurt that has been caused. She couldn't turn back time, no matter how badly she wanted to. All she could do now was face the consequences of her actions and learn from them, and that's when she understood: trust is not something that can be taken for granted. It is fragile, like glass, and once shattered, the pieces are never quite the same again. It may heal, but the cracks will always remain, and the scars will forever be a part of the relationship, but perhaps that's the hardest part. Understanding that once you lose someone's trust, the path to rebuilding it is long, uncertain, and painful. Sometimes, it's a journey you both have to take together, and other times, it's one you must walk alone. As Amanda sat there, reflecting on everything she had lost, she also realized that she wasn't the only one in this story. Trust is not just about one person betraying another. It's about the ripples of that betrayal affecting everyone involved. Tom wasn't just her husband, he was a person who had invested his heart into something that was now in pieces. And that was something she could never take back. The hardest truth Amanda had to face was that sometimes, the damage caused by betrayal is so deep, it leaves a permanent mark on both people involved. She had broken Tom's heart, and the only thing left for her to do was to allow him the space to heal, whatever that might look like. Maybe that meant parting ways, maybe it meant starting over. She didn't know, but as she sat there, staring at the emptiness in the house, she finally understood that no relationship, no matter how much love it's built on, is immune to betrayal. And when trust is broken, the path back is long, uncertain, and, at times, painful. The question now remained: could Tom ever trust her again? Could she trust herself? Could they rebuild? Only time would tell. But for Amanda, the road to redemption wasn't just about asking for forgiveness, it was about proving that she had learned the lesson the hard way. The lesson that trust, once lost, is a treasure too precious to take for granted. As we end this story today, I want to leave you with a question: what would you do if you were in Amanda's shoes? Have you ever experienced a betrayal that shook your trust in someone? How did you move forward? Is it possible to rebuild trust after it's been shattered, or are some things irreparable? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Sharing your story could help others who are going through something similar. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories that explore love, betrayal, trust, and relationships. Thank you for watching. Remember, trust is a gift, and once it's broken, it's never quite the same. Take care of it, because, sometimes, you may never get it back.